Okay, so I have not made a video in quite some time. I've been laying low. I still got all my legal issues that I'm going through. However, some new developing stuff has happened in the case that I feel completely compelled to talk about, to bring to light, to bring everybody up to speed. So in my case, there was a bunch of federal informants, 15 federal informants that were confidential. These were like embedded federal informants inside this whole case. And these federal informants now are being exposed by this man named Gary Hunt. He runs a blog, and somehow the information was leaked to him. My own theory of how this information was leaked to him is because, so these federal informants, they're paid cash money. Your federal tax dollars, is being paid to these federal informants. So these informants have to give these juicy stories, and they feed these lies to the federal agents in order to get their payday. And this was all disclosed during the testimony of Terry Linnell during the first trial. So these informants, the FBI knows that they were being fed total lies and bullcrap now. They see it. The first guys were all acquitted at the trial, and they were all fed complete lies from these informants. So I believe it's probably somebody within the FBI that is leaking the information of these informants now, because these informants have caused the FBI to look like the asses that they looked like during the first trial. Okay, so all the discovery from my case was under seal. Okay, it was all under seal so that only the prosecution and the defense can see it. Nobody else can see it. I'm not allowed to disseminate it. I'm not allowed to give it out, publish it, nothing like that. Well, somehow this information has been leaked to Gary Hunt. Again, I have my own theory of who's leaking it and why. The informants, you lied to the FBI. You are the ones that are bringing this down upon yourself now. And so now they're kind of like getting panicked and worried. So the government is now trying to silence Mr. Hunt. They're trying to tell him, you need to take it down. You cannot be, you're exposing these informants and putting their lives at risk. You're putting them at jeopardy because now people are going to want to do harm to them. I don't condone or advocate anybody going out and doing anything harmful to these informants. Pray for them. Let them answer to God for it, okay? And God forbid something do happen to these guys. It's just going to play right into the narrative that we are dangerous people, that, it's somehow putting them at risk. So a while ago, a similar case to this, the government is now trying to silence Gary Hunt. They're trying to hold him in contempt of court and all this stuff. He's not publishing the actual papers, the actual document. He is simply taking excerpts of it and he's exposing it. He's showing who these informants are. Now, the reports that were given to me, they were all redacted. So I could just read what the informants were informing on, but all the rest of it was redacted. So they never actually gave me the names of any informants. So by process of elimination, I can sit there and read through the report. And when it says so-and-so, or the CHS, the confidential human source, did this, this, and this, the confidential human source was here at this time and this time and this time, I can sit there and remember, well, okay, this guy's not behind bars, he's not locked up, he was there from this time frame, and well, it could only be this person because it's process of elimination. So I'm sitting here reading these reports, and I'm like, okay, so there's an informant, there's an informant, there's an informant, and I can say the names of these individuals because the government has not actually given me the names of the individuals. How do I know who to not talk about if they have tried to seal it and keep it all under seal? But somehow it's all being exposed through Gary Hunt. They're trying to silence him. A similar case came up many years ago with the New York Times. So we have the government now attacking your First Amendment again, the freedom of press. Many years ago, the New York Times published the Pentagon Papers. I encourage people to go look this story up. They were publishing these Pentagon Papers. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld it for the New York Times, that they don't need to give up their source. It's freedom of the press, and they're exposing public information, stuff that is of public interest. Please go look this story up. So that's the beauty of this. And now what they're doing by attacking Mr. Hunt and going after him now and telling him to take it down, they're actually giving even more validity to what he's published thus far. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We've been telling you people that Mark McConnell is an informant. All the other names that are out there that have been exposed, they are flat out informants. However, I don't actually have that on me, so I can't, if I had a piece of paper, if I had this informant report where his name was not redacted, then, I wouldn't be able to, I would see that he's an informant, and then I would probably not, at that point, I wouldn't be able to say anything about it. So I'm not publishing anything. I'm just sharing public knowledge now. It's been exposed. These are paid informants. These are traitors. People, if you choose to affiliate with these kind of people, you yourself are going to be a liability as well. If you don't understand or see how or why, I'm a prime example. And when all the stuff does get unsealed and you see all the lies and fabrication that was fed to the FBI, see, that makes you a liability now, because you can go to your friend, this person that you're choosing to still associate with, and tell them something, and that's how it will then it's the telephone game. And so it'll get to the feds in that aspect. So this is great news. I encourage everyone to go look up the Burns Chronicles. You will see all of the informants that have been exposed thus far. And I encourage everyone to just distance yourselves, leave them alone, don't threaten them. I don't condone any threats. Let them answer to God when it comes their time, all right? However, you should probably be writing to your local representatives about your tax dollars and cash money just being handed to these people. They're not having to pay any taxes on it. It's cash money being fed for lies. And then, that's how we ended up with this ambush that Mark McConnell helped set up. He set up he's the one that went out there and helped set up this ambush. He's the one that told everybody to convoy together. We got to convoy together. These guys were going around and giving speeches to neighboring communities, all right? And you had Ryan Payne, you had Ryan Bundy, you had Lavoy Finicum. They were all, each one of these guys would talk for maybe an hour. Even myself, we'd talk for an hour, all right? And before the next guy would go up. Ammon Bundy was always the last one to talk. Ammon Bundy wasn't even supposed, so that's why Lavoy Finicum's truck would have gone much sooner. And Ammon Bundy had no intention of going to that John Day meeting until much later. It was Mark McConnell that said, no, we got to go together. We got to stick together and keep the vehicles together, and maybe let's not go armed. So Mark McConnell was the only one armed in Ammon Bundy's Jeep, as he was acting as Ammon Bundy's bodyguard. So they drive out. Bam, cops pull him over. Mark McConnell pulls over right away, just gets out, hands up, just, and plays right into it. He fed Ammon Bundy right into the belly of the beast. And this was all exposed and shown. And right after it all happened, bam, Mark McConnell comes out and he starts making statements and giving a public thing and talking about how, well, they were in the wrong. So now you've got this whole chaos and division. It's classic divide and conquer. They see the patriot community as probably one of the biggest threats, exposing all the corruption going on within our own government. They see it as a threat. So they've got these paid individuals like Mark McConnell, Melvin Lee, even people that are affiliating with them and choosing to still be friends with them, I have my absolute suspicions of that they, at one point or another, they're redcoat loyalists. Okay, they are the ones that would turn over the American patriots. Our country was founded on an act of treason. And so they say, it's 3% was actually the ones out there taking up arms. That's why they are afraid of individuals like us. Even though we will never fire unless fired upon, we will always maintain the moral high ground and continue to just do what's right. That's what this is all about. Legal and illegal can never be a substitute for right and wrong. And these people are choosing to take the wrong path. So I'm very happy that they're being exposed. Don't be a liability. Steer clear from these people. Just that nothing good will come from them, and let them go live their lives and continue to get their paydays at the expense of other good patriots, unfortunately. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I have not made a video in quite some time. I've been laying low. I still got all my legal issues that I'm going through. So, however, some new developing stuff has happened in this that were confidential. These were like embedded federal informants inside this this whole case, and these federal informants now are being a case that I feel completely compelled to talk about, to bring to light, to bring everybody up to speed. So in my case, there was a bunch of federal informants, 15 federal informants, because so these federal informants, they're paid cash money. Your federal tax dollars, is being paid to these federal informants. So these informants are being exposed by this man named Gary Hunt. He runs a blog, and somehow the information was leaked to him. My own theory of how this information was leaked to him